Spirit through forced death, he assumed the force to a woman that was once close to George's father. Woman's name was AjMarkle's. Before she gave birth to a son named Peter, or son father.
I know a lot of you guys may not like Ray, or some might like Ray. I don't know. But I'm just going to be real with you guys. Ray isn't who you think she is, some might say. If I directed her, that is. Because once I finish this episode, you guys might have a new look for her based on my direction if I was able to direct it. Rey is one of the most popular characters in Star Wars, but yet her lack of backstory, in my opinion, makes her a very polarizing figure and OP. Basically, overpowering, because you can't just randomly defeat a Sith Lord, and you can't just, out of the blue, defeat a cloned Emperor, even if it was not the real Emperor. It's kind of OP.
And with two lightsabers.
They have all the Jedi and all that stuff on her, yeah. Kind of a rip-off of Avengers Endgame, but you guys get the hint.
Yeah,
so anyway, guys, this is the full backstory. If I direct this Disney Star Wars about Rey.
Here we go.
Before he became known as the Emperor and Darth Sidious, he was known as Chief Palpatine. Then he would later on become the Senator of Naboo, where he was close to politics. But he used the front as a senator to cover up his identity as Darth Sidious, and of course, later on, uncover his plan for a galactic empire. Yet, he also orchestrated the Clone Wars so he could also help get someone else to his side for the Empire, Anakin Skywalker, who became Darth Vader. He also was notorious for pain and Sith lightning, which he would use on his apprentice's son, Luke, which we all know apprentice Darth Vader. His notorious cold-hearted attitude will give pain to anyone. The Sith lightning he leashes out is so painful that is painful enough that you will almost die. But thankfully, though, Anakin was able to defeat Darth Sidious, or the Emperor, by throwing him down the ventilation shaft, destroying his form, and succeeding victory with the rebellion, so they take over the Republic. Thus, that is the end for Emperor Palpatine in general.
For me, the true end.
Or is it? If you think about it, a young woman by the name of AjMarkle's was raised in Coruscant and was chosen by the Empire to become one of the most famous soldiers. And even Palpatine sensed something was different about her. So, he decided to keep his laser life through her by using the Force to create a child through her. She would flee and would give birth to the child in a planet known as Rylan. And the child's name is Couture's Palpatine. Unfortunately for AjMarkle's, while she raised her son, she could not hide the truth about who his father really was for long. And once she told him, he was put in great fear, and she decided against her full will to give him up for his safety. It was for the best. AjMarkle's would later die of a broken heart.
That was awesome. That's better than how Disney explained his
Couture's was known as the one that was Palpatine's son, later on when he was in his young adult years. But he decided he didn't want anything to do with him, despite the chance he could have Force abilities. But seeing how his father's Force abilities were painful based on the readings, he'd have to flee. He would find a woman by the name of Ari Kenobi. Now, Ari has a very interesting story arc, which I will explain in a sec. But let's kind of go back on Couture's real quick. Couture's, unlike his father, was very caring. Even as a young child, he always believed in caring for other people besides himself. It was one of the reasons he married her, because he saw her caring spirit as well, and how willing she was to protect him. Ari is the daughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi, who had actually did have a love affair because, if you guys remember from the Kenobi books, he did lead the Jedi Order for another woman, but that was a mistake. Her mother is known as Tariah Dempsey. Both Obi-Wan and Tariah were very close, but sadly, Tariah died in Order 66 and Obi-Wan was forced to give up Arari for her safety. While he was on Tatooine, Obi-Wan not only had to keep an eye on Luke, but he also used the Force to connect to his daughter. Before he died, he left her this message. My time is coming, my daughter. I want you to have a good future while the Empire is still reigning. And that one day it will fall when the chosen one rises up. May the Force be with you. One would still keep in contact with his daughter through the Force, but she decided to disconnect from the Force to protect her daughter, and she would die along with her husband on Jakku. Thus, that is the end of Rey's parents.
Now that's what I call emotional backstory right there.
Rylu, a planet known for Twi'leks, was where Rey was born.
An ad popped
Rey's
up.
parents kept her there for a little bit to keep her away from the First Order. However, they couldn't save her for long, because now, with the Emperor coming back, this will be explained in a much later video, Rey had to be in another planet away from Rylu, so they took her to a very far planet, Jakku. Unfortunately, Rey's parents met their end. However, Rey didn't know her parents had died. I mean, it's obvious. They were both Force users because they have Force sensitivity, right? I mean, Palpatine, Kenobi, and all that? Wrong. They disconnected from the Force, so they wouldn't have to deal with all that. However, Rey triggered that when she herself connected with the Force herself as a young girl. However, after her parents dropped her off Jakku, she disconnected herself from the Force. And ever since then, she had to learn as a salvager how to survive on her own, learning the skills of other people and also self-teaching herself her own ways of survival. Rey had a unique ability that several people have called memorizing through sight, meaning that she can memorize by what she sees, rather than using the Force just so that she could learn that tactic.
Yeah.
So basically, Rey is a very strong character, but it took a long time for her to develop as a character. But still,
wow,
Rey still missed her parents.
That's how it should have been.
And she wondered if she'll ever see them again. But she never did. But still, heard about the rumors about the Resistance, and had heard so much about it. In fact, some of the stuff she salvaged were either First Order parts or Resistance parts. She even found a Resistance helmet. However, despite learning all that, and her yearning to be free from Jakku, we still get to see how she grew up. Let me explain at least 3 things that she learned on Jakku that would help her throughout her entire life. Number 1, the staff. The staff, in this case, was picked up by another salvager when she was fighting. You see, salvagers in this time of Jakku, and even back thousands of years ago, back in the Knights of the Old Republic, play that second game, by the way, so you can understand what I'm talking about, it was hard. Those guys are savages. No pun intended. Okay, maybe it was. But you get the hint. Those guys are dangerous, and they can be violent. They will do whatever it takes to get what they want. However, to answer your question, maybe why Rey was alone, the reason she was alone was because salvagers were basically afraid of her. That's right, I'm saying it perfectly. Salvagers are afraid of Rey because she has learned how to defend herself, she's learned how to physically defeat them, and because of her abilities to use a staff, obviously, but also learning hand-to-hand combat, she will become a much more powerful person. And she didn't have to use the Force to do that.
No.
Kind of interesting, huh? Of course,
way more interesting.
even with all that training, her time to leave Jakku was still far away. Day.
And now the conclusion.
So
So now we know that Rey is a Kenobi and a Palpatine. However, it's important to know that her parents sacrificed their lives to protect their daughter from the evil Sidious or Palpatine. But yet it's important to know that Rey is not some Mary Sue that randomly had these abilities to fight back.
Yeah.
And yet, she's still got time to develop at this point. And this is the conclusion of her backstory, that we know she was born on Rylu, we know she was raised in Jakku on her own by being a salvager or scavenger, if you guys looked up the word. And also we know that she did not randomly get natural abilities. She actually had to work to get those abilities so she become a much stronger character. I hope this basically helps with Rey's backstory. If you guys got any questions about this,
this
please
is a
leave
way
them down
better
below,
backstory
and
than the
will be
one
sure to
Disney
answer
made.
them later on. Heck, maybe I might even answer them in a future video, so that way you guys could basically get more answers out of it. Hey, this is if I directed Disney Star Wars, and it's only my opinion how it should be done. I'm not trying to change Disney's series, even though there's rumor that they are basically changing it or cutting out sequels, making an alternate universe, which could be a do or die, but I don't know. But anyway, guys, I hope this is a good one, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Yep.
Leave a like down in the video, and of course share this with your friends. And I will see you guys in the next video. God bless, you rock, don't forget it.
See ya. So anyway, that was me checking out AjMarkle's first episode of If I Directed Disney Star Wars, and this time it was for Rey's backstory. Now, what he said, if he had directed Rey's backstory, this was definitely much better. It would be a much better backstory than the one Disney gave us, which basically just gave us more questions, etc. But anyway, enough with me bashing Disney Star Wars. That will be it for this video, and I'll post a link to AjMarkle's channel if you want to check his channel out. And if you like this and want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe to Gorilla G Roxon. Wait, before I click out the video, guys, sorry I kept kind of cutting it. These ads kept playing during the video, and it was basically caused me to cut the video. But anyway, that'll be it for this video. And I'm going to say this again. If you like this and want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe to Gorilla G Roxon.